Hello everyone and welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video. This is Dragothien here, and today we're going to be talking about the new patch notes that are coming out here just shortly. Looks like it's going to be on the 7th, so in about a week or so, maybe a little less than a week. And usually these things tend to happen in the early UTC AMs kind of thing, so be prepared for that. Usually for us in the US, that's usually going to be in the middle of the night, so buckle up for that. But those on the Eastern time zones, or European time zone, I should say, that should be right when you wake up, pretty much. Ian's Ballad is the name of this patch note, 1.0.32, and some cool nifty things as far as events go, some more like Ceroli style things that looks like it's going to be. But then also there's some huge KvK changes that we're going to get to, and it's going to change the way KvK is played. More strategy is going to be required to control the map. So we're going to get into those, and I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on what I think of what some of these changes. And yeah, a lot of these were a long time coming. I know that a lot of us in the sponsored content creator community have been asking for quite a few of these changes, especially the KvK flavored version that you'll see later in the patch. And then also just some more things that everybody can play into, not just those that are paying into the game. So let's jump right into it here. The first one's called Ian's Ballads. It's a new event, and again, it looks like it has a Ceroli style flavor to it. It says it's going to eventually be rolled out throughout the kingdoms over a week or two. And it looks like Ian the Bard has spread his ballads of epic battles to all corners of the world. Looks like the rewards are going to be materials and blueprints. So again, very similar to Ceroli, or also the Barbarian Fort kind of thing that people are doing as well. That's a very good way to get some rewards for equipments and things like that. So this looks like to be another flavor of that. And again, it's just, if you have an account that has really good tech, you can take advantage of this and get some of the highest rewards that you can get in this event, it seems. So very good for most of the players that have been playing for a decent chunk of time. And again, it's because it's going to be spread out, you know, a rolling spread out when it comes to getting this event into the game. I'd imagine the later kingdoms won't be getting this necessarily right off the bat, because they're not going to have accounts that can really take advantage of it, but at least the higher tiered pieces of it. The lower tiered, like the normal and the easy modes, you should certainly be able to get some of these pieces as well. So maybe it'll be towards the end is when they start rolling that stuff out. So, but defeat powerful chieftains and earn piles of precious rewards. So again, those rewards, just based off of this picture here, look to be something in the neighborhood of equipments and things like that. Next event, Peerless Scholar, will gradually open up to all kingdoms again within 2 weeks after the update. So this is the Lyceum of Wisdom. This is a new building that you're going to be able to build inside of your city. And again, cities are getting a little tight with all the decorations and rewards and people putting up trees and things like that. So that's another piece that's I'm about to go into from the patch notes, which is really cool. But the Lyceum of Wisdom is a haven with the most advanced knowledge of its time. Travelers from across the land gather here to exchange privileged information. The most prestigious and influential figures often come to share their wisdom in hopes of advancing civilization and advancing mankind as a whole. So that's the description of this new building. Looks like it's being described as a massive trivia quiz system, which I'm a huge fan of. I am a wealth of useless knowledge. So this is going to be right up my alley. I will definitely be doing videos on this and streaming this, and hopefully you guys can join me on that. This is going to be fun. To me, this is fun. You know, some people might not be into this, but you know me, I love just useless trivia and trivia type games. So this is actually going to be really cool. It says, sheathe your weapons and take a well-deserved rest from battle. Use your smarts and wisdom to earn great honor and mountains of rewards. I like the term mountains of rewards. Let's see how mountainous they are. That'd be pretty sweet. Governors can build a new structure, like we just said. Every month at the Lyceum of Wisdom, a trivia quiz contest will be open to all governors and last for 1 month. Governors who pass will be able to receive a ton of rewards. Again, mountains and tons. I like that. And governors that make it to the very end will receive their hard-earned share from a massive pool of gems. I like that too. So again, you know, this to me, and the way it's described, I can't possibly think how this could be a pay-to-win event. If it's a knowledge-based system, unless you want to term college as a pay-to-win event, which is, I guess it is kind of if you think about it. it depends on how this is rolled out. If this is something where you can just pop over to Google and, you know, pop in, then that's, you know, that is what it is. But I hope to bring you guys guides on that stuff so that you can, you know, get what you want to get from a reward standpoint and benefit from my wealth of useless knowledge. So I will definitely be all over that. Number 3, other optimizations. This is where it starts getting really cool. So area of the cities has been expanded. I just talked about that, where cities are starting to get a little cramped. They're expanding the amount of area inside of your city so that you can now show off even more of your decorative structures. Also, so you can house the new Lyceum of Wisdom. Number 2, added a new Healing Kingdom buff. The king can choose to activate it via kingdom buffs. This is going to be a new system, guys. There's going to be more than just this buff for a king to be able to activate. I heard about this during the last KvK, and you're going to start seeing more and more of these, I'd imagine, start to come out, whether it's an attack buff or an experience buff, probably mirroring some of the buffs that you can get from an alliance, but for a kingdom, and maybe they stack too. That'd be pretty sweet. So after a huge battle, once the zones are over with or whatever, you can pop that, or during battle, even better, you can pop this kingdom buff, and sure enough, you can go ahead and get the, I'm assuming, what's going to be a healing speed buff, which will help reduce the amount of speed ups that it takes to heal, and that's going to be very advantageous to kingdoms that use that effectively. Number 3, added a quick forge feature to the blacksmith. Governors should be able to forge equipment faster. I don't understand that, because you forge equipment instantly right now. So I'm not quite sure what that means. Maybe you can throw in the comments below what you think that means. Because right now, as long as you've got the materials, you hit craft and boom, you've got it. So I don't know if there's going to be a combination feature that they're going to be adding where you have to combine different things and forge it and it takes time, or if it's referencing, it might be referencing the actual materials. If it's referencing the materials, that would make some sense, because it does take time to get the materials. So maybe that's part of it, and I'm assuming some speed ups are involved in this process as well. So start, if you haven't already, which you obviously should be, banking up your speed ups to use for something like that if there's a piece of equipment that you are really after. Number 4, you can now specify which single governor to block from your mail via the mailbox. Good quality of life improvement. Number 5, change the way the Shadow Legion calculates results. Now, as soon as an alliance event ends, the results are calculated immediately. That makes total sense. There's no reason to have a 4-day event and somebody does it on day 1 and they can't do it again, and you got to wait 4 days for the results or for the rewards. So I totally like that. You can go ahead and do it on day 1 and get the rewards on day 1. That's pretty sweet. However, again, you cannot do it from multiple alliances. So that doesn't change. That part has not changed. You still can only do it with one alliance, and you get the rewards from one alliance. A brand new panel for binding accounts. That's interesting. I'm interested to see how that plays out. Right now, you can do it through Facebook, through your Google Play account. You can do it through Gmail. You can do it through Apple's Game Center as well. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. I'm interested to see how that affects the game, or how that affects people who want to bind multiple accounts together. Oop, I'm just doing stuff here. Now, when governors immigrate, the game will determine in advance if they satisfy all the requirements to immigrate to target kingdom. I thought that was already happening. I guess it doesn't. I know that. So right now, if you try to immigrate, it'll have the list of things that you need to do to immigrate. You have to hit the immigrate button, and then it will tell you what you're missing. Maybe this is going to be proactive and have it on the main screen saying, okay, we know you're about to press the immigrate button. Maybe these are the 2 things that you don't have yet, or you don't have enough passports, or you don't have all your armies back in your city, or whatever that looks like. So maybe it's a little more proactive. That's kind of cool. Again, a good quality of life change. Number 8, special immigration applications will expire if they are not processed within 3 days. Another quality of life improvement, which is always nice. Number 9, commanders that have not reached their usage requirement, so the kingdom age is basically what that means, will not be available for use in the Sunset Canyon and in the Lost Canyon. So this is going to impact KvK and Lost Canyon specifically. Also, it will it will have something to do with people who migrate from earlier kingdoms that have, say, Ramses and Artemisia. or Guan Yu and Leonidas, and going to a later kingdom like say 1300, 1400 that don't necessarily have those yet. And it will stop them from being able to use them in Sunset Canyon and basically dominating until that server catches up to those wheels and Mightiest Governors. So that's kind of neat. Again, they've kind of done a flavor of that inside of KvK, although to me it hasn't really seemed to affect things too much. Most kingdoms have Attila Takeda now, which is obviously the biggies, and they're starting to really kind of roll those out anyway. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see how that impacts, but that's definitely a good thing for fairness, I guess you should say. And then for Lost Canyon, again, that's obviously a KvK Sunset Canyon event. If you've got kingdoms that are really late, like say a 1350 or a 1400, with kingdoms that are in the 1200s or early 1300s, then they're going to have a commander discrepancy, and that will basically, again, help it be more fair in that KvK Lost Canyon event. Number 10, during matchmaking for the Ark of Osiris, newer kingdoms will not be matched against a kingdom with a relatively older history. I'm assuming, again, that's trying to get the matchmaking a little more fixed. I don't know if that's the fix, but it probably should be a good start at least. Again, I think that also has to do with some commander stuff. So again, if you're in a 1200 kingdom and you're facing a 1500 kingdom, you know, not that I don't think you can even really do that because there's two realms, at least for the Osiris League. I don't know if that's the same way for Ark of Osiris, but just for an example, obviously there's a huge commander difference, and there's also a huge troop count difference. So, you know, from a cost of healing perspective for the older or for the newer kingdom, it would be a lot more than versus one that's got enough troops to go through Ark of Osiris without having to heal. So that's a good quality of life improvement as well, in my opinion. Number 11 is the big one. This is the big one. This is a huge KvK change, and it's one that's probably a long time coming. Again, I know myself and everybody in the content creation community that's sponsored by Rise of Kingdoms has been asking for this, and I know players in the game have also been asking for this, but adjusted mechanics on passes. Governors can no longer teleport a city to within a certain radius of a pass. This will stop bubble blocking. So bubble metropolises, I don't know what you want to call it, but basically right now, and has been this way since KvK 1, I know we did it in KvK 1 because that was the mechanic. You can block a pass physically from ever being came through. They cannot come through with a flag or anything if you properly block a pass. If you properly flag and drop cities on that pass, you can physically stop them from coming through. There's no way they can come through. Now, some people do it right, some people do it wrong, and the ones that do it wrong, your pass gets breached if you don't have the troops to defend it. So, but this eliminates that from ever being a thing. So now you have to really start to strategize and figure out what you are going to do if you are an underpowered kingdom against a bigger one, or if you are 1 versus 3 or whatever that looks like. You need to figure out how you're going to defend those passes so that you can make sure that you don't get overwhelmed right off the bat, because bubble city blocking is no longer a thing after this patch, which is interesting because we're going into Season 4, Light versus Darkness on the earlier kingdoms. So this will be a game changer for that KvK, which will be also on this channel. I'm in 93 on my main account. You'll be seeing that heavily in the coming weeks. So number 11 is the biggie. That's the best. That's the biggest, and I mean, obviously, in my opinion, probably one of the better ones of this whole patch. Number 12, to further ensure balance, now advanced and powerful commanders may only be used in kingdoms that have been open for a long period of time. I think this has already been a thing. But again, maybe there's a further adjustment that's being made. I know that there's different generations of commanders. Like you've got the original ones from the game, and then you've also got the second tier, which is going to be your Alexes, your Genghis, your Saladin, those. And then you've got the third generations, which is your Attila, your Takeda, your Guan Yus, your Leonidases, and then now you're coming out with fourth generation with Ramses and Artemisia. So yeah, and you can check those by what the age requirement of the kingdom is for each one of those commanders. When you click them on the screen, it'll tell you, and that will give you the generations required for using those commanders in KvK and just in general, sounds like in Sunset Canyon now too. But they're doing some more adjustments to that. It wasn't really super detailed on number 12 there, but it looks like there's going to be some more adjustments coming for that. So that's what's coming. That's what you are going to be seeing in the coming weeks, depending on which kingdom you are in. I really like a new building. New buildings are always nice. Lyceum of Wisdom is really, really sweet. I love the trivia stuff. That's a big thing for me. The Peerless Scholar one is my favorite event out of these two that are coming out. There's a lot of ways to get equipment and blueprints now based on these new events that are coming out. You got the Ian's Ballad. Of course, you've got Ceroli Crisis, which has been newly revamped and pretty sweet as well. Has its own store. And then also you've got the Barbarian Forts too. So there's tons of ways you can get equipment and blueprints and things like that. I really think that the blueprint system and the equipment system is starting to really flush out. So now it's a matter of getting the materials, and that's where it starts to differentiate pay to win versus free to play, which is obviously part of the game, but at the same time also fun. So with that being said, I like this patch overall. I really like some of the adjustments to the KvK stuff. I really like the pass blocking thing being completely gone and a thing of the past. And I really like the trivia contest. That's just my thing, and it's a personal thing that I just enjoy. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this breakdown of the patch. Again, if you have any questions, please throw them in the comment below. If you have not hit subscribe yet, you need to do that because otherwise you're not going to see all these new videos coming out to you. Also hit the bell notification so you get a notification whenever those things happen. Hope you have enjoyed. I will see y'all next time. Cheers. Have a good one, and take care.